Hey all, RJ here. While recording this Blüdvaren arc of the campaign, we utilized maps of the city given to us by Harrison for reference. If you'd like to see the map for yourself while listening to the next few episodes, you can find a link to it in the episode descriptions. I'll be back in a bit for the mid-episode break, but for now, let's get on with the Return of Ornon, episode 24. Previously, on Realms and Nerds, the Return of Ornon.
A small compartment that's been cleverly sewn into the side of the bag opens, and a tiny little velvet bag falls out. Inside is a monocle with a golden rim to it and a gold chain with a small jewel embedded into the side of it.
The monocle of the Tudu! And Seebo's gonna look through it.
And as he does, he turns into a shadow. You find Rhomash's brain, you put it all together, put the top of his head back on, smack him with this healing touch, and Rhomash opens his eyes. He has no memories before that point.
This might be where to put the teleport thing down.
As Seebo throws it to the ground and crushes it underneath his heel, suddenly a portal appears. You catch a glimpse of Sage, and she is over by some of the soldiers.
Alright, later, losers. I'm going with the sneaky boys.
You cannot hope to assault the city with the forces you have brought.
Rhomash would like to throw a flame at this guy's face.
This firebolt shoots out, and he is obliterated. However, as soon as you do so, the 20 soldiers that were arrayed behind him are now charging you. So you now stand on this battlefield surveying this small company that you have now defeated, and you hear marching footsteps as some sort of large-scale force marches through the city to come oppose you. So when we left off last time, you had just defeated this small group of soldiers after Rhomash went a little crazy and decided to smoke their leader. And then as you finished up, you now hear the stomp of hundreds, maybe even thousands of boots approaching from somewhere inside the city.
Well, I'd say we got their attention. Let's see if we can keep it that way.
Seebo wants to run back to camp.
They had his attention. Now they have his interest.
I'm gonna look and start searching about... Well, there's nobody near me, is there?
We're here, aren't we, on the map?
We're on the north side, yeah.
What do you mean near you? Like enemies, allies?
Kind of like the ground and area surrounding me. Just if there's anywhere that I might possibly be able to be out of sight.
Well, he wants to hide.
Not necessarily, it's just be like concealed. So yes, hide.
Okay. I guess do a stealth check.
Okay. In the meantime, I'm gonna have to do this. I need to
That is a critical fail.
Hey, Rhomash, you're gonna have to talk at least close to the mic, or at least point your mouth towards it.
So yeah,
maybe not quite
I'm
that
gonna
close.
anyway. No, Rhomash is going to cast Cure Wounds as a second level spell to heal himself because he is not looking good.
Well, whose fault is that, Rhomash?
The soldier that stabbed him. That's a 16.
Okay. Your spell works even better than you intended, and you heal for double the amount that you would have otherwise.
Okay, let me roll for health. Okay, I get 32 HP back. Baller.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Hey!
I get 40.
Hey! That's pretty good!
I get 40. I get 5 away from my max. That was
Okay.
great.
So, going back to Mikhail, what did you roll on your stealth check?
That would be a critical fail.
All right.
He starts performing a dance number.
Mikhail, there was a...
Alarm clocks just start falling out of my pockets.
There was some sort of maybe like squatters camps or something like that outside of the city that were hastily abandoned when you approached. And from where you were standing, you accidentally knocked a tent over into the fire and it caught ablaze. And now everyone that is within eyesight knows where you are.
Well then, can I begin rummaging through the tent or where it was that I had knocked over?
Sure, I guess you can take a peek if you'd like to.
Alright. Trying to just make it look natural.
Okay. I actually want you to do a performance check for me. Since you're just doing this to save face, I want to see if people believe it.
That's a 15.
Okay. They think you look like a little bit of a dumbass, but they more or less believe that you were in there looting and accidentally knocked the tent over.
Look like an ass to save my ass.
There you go. That's how it works.
Okay,
So
this stomping of boots is getting increasingly louder, and you can see much more movement on the wall of the city.
Can I do a perception check of the wall real quick?
Okay.
Make a decision of what we're doing. That's a 13.
There are a lot of drows with a lot of pointy things on this wall.
All right, guys. There's a lot of drows with a bunch of pointy things kind of facing our way. I think we should get out of here before the boots make it our way.
A lot of drow with a lot of pointy things. Wow, aren't you Captain Obvious?
Well, I mean, I didn't do so well on my perception, so...
hey, is Seebo... So Seebo started running back to camp.
Okay.
A while ago.
Yeah, you booked it. I think you didn't have very far to go. You're definitely back there by now.
Okay. Who's still there? Everyone?
The only people that are currently absent, as far as you can tell, is Sage, Joshamee, and the group that Sage had with her. Everybody else was holding position while Michael went up with you guys to supposedly talk. I guess ended up killing this contingent.
Brandon trying to come bring me into the game.
Can see from where Seebo's at? Can he see the eastern 7 gate, or like this area down here?
You can see where the buildings are. You're not going to be able to see the gate itself, just because the buildings would be blocking it. But you can see probably some of the buildings are sticking out from where you are.
So Seebo's gonna look over there. He's gonna pull out the monocle of Latudu.
Okay.
Gonna look through the looking glass, and he's going to race himself over to the building he can see.
Okay. Since it's been forever, you want to give us a quick recap on what your monocle does exactly?
Sure. Upon use, the holder is transformed into a shadow. In this form, the holder no longer physically exists on the normal plane. Instead, the wielder is seen as nothing more than a shadow, as they are now in a different plane. In this form, the wielder is given the ability of the shadow, but cannot interact with the outside world. The wielder is able to teleport to a location seen through the looking glass while in shadow form, or as their first move into shadow form. Although the wielder cannot interact with the world while a shadow, they can make a single attack, after which they are returned to real form.
Alright.
And then the shadow is a monster. You can look them up if you want to know what the shadow do.
The shadow!
Did we ever set...
shadow now?
I'm a shadow.
Yeah. Did we ever set a time limit on that?
No. You never talked to me.
Okay.
That seems kind of...
Also, you still never told me the...
Kind of like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what we said for use was once per day, pretty sure.
Once per day?
Yeah.
Okay. Or after a...
Once per long rest.
Long rest. Every day or after a long rest.
Yeah, just once per day.
Okay.
Which, since we don't keep track of exact 24-hour periods, we'll just kind of go off of, I guess my discretion. But
yeah. I wield the power.
But I'll be more or less fair about it if you can make a good case that it's been at least a full day since the last time you used it.
Okay.
And as far as use goes, we'll say no more than an hour, I guess.
Okay.
So you can use it for an hour.
Okay.
All right. So you've now wraithed over or shadowed over, I guess, to the northeastern gate. What are you doing now that you're over here?
I'd like to do a perception check to see if I can make out if a group has traveled through here or had traveled into the city.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Are you just standing right on the edge of the buildings, or are you walking through the buildings, like, to get to where you can see the gate itself?
I'm gonna walk like a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because where you would first come in, you wouldn't be able to see the road. You would have to...
Right, well, I'm gonna kind of, like, move up to, like, right here. I know that the listeners have no idea what I'm saying, but, like, right about here, you know, so, like, you can see, like, the road and kind of this area, like, okay,
right
this way, you know?
Okay, so you won't actually be able to see the gate itself, then, but you'll be able to see the road.
Right.
Okay, so go ahead.
No.
Okay. This road has been used with a fair amount of regularity. You cannot tell if it was used very recently or if it has been a little bit.
Okay. Then he's going to make his way towards the gate.
Okay. So you're just walking towards the gate?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to...
Okay. Yeah. So what's, I guess, the three of you that are still back with the main group now, what are you guys doing?
Well, Rhomash kind of wants to go back and get away from this gate because clearly they've got the attention of a couple hundred soldiers and they're probably not going to win a fight with these guys. So Rhomash is going to start making his way back to the main group of soldiers we have.
Brunhilde is making sure that everybody is away before she decides to turn tail. She wants to make sure that everybody's taken care of and that everybody's behind her before she decides that she's gonna start moving back towards the camp.
Okay. Yeah, I think Michael and his two personal, I guess not really guards, but we'll call them the Vanguard. How about that? His personal Vanguard soldiers have already started back as well. They're gonna go, discuss the new developments with the troops. So the only other person would be Mikhail. I don't know what he's up to.
He found a hot tub and is skinny dipping.
Jenkins!
Mikhail's been planning a way to get inside the city, and he thinks he has a bright idea, which might also be a dumb idea.
Yeah, that's the best kind.
We're going to lose another character.
Okay. So what is Mikhail doing?
As the rest of his companions seem to be getting the heck out of Dodge, he sees the pile of dead bodies that they're leaving behind them on the field, and he begins dragging them into a pile and stands upon it.
Okay. Brunhilde, you definitely see him doing this.
Are you fucking daft? Are you daft, boy?
I intend to see the inside of this city. I intend to claim responsibility for this failed contingency, if you will.
You're gonna be doing it in a body bag. Get your ass back to the camp.
To do what?
Plan.
With?
Michael and the rest of and the lot of us.
The lot of us being a dragon who has had his head removed and brain taken out, or a dwarf that is afraid to charge into battle until it is already upon her.
There's a difference between knowing when to retreat and being a fucking imbecile. You freaking weapon.
Two of our companions will have entered the city by now. I feel that we are yet left behind, unless you seek another door along the outside of the wall.
But they're sneaky boys. They can handle this.
You have to admit, you want to see the inside of that city.
Give me half a second. Give me half a second. She gets down on her knees, and she looks up at the sky, and she says, "You better keep me safe, you nutter." And she runs on the pile of bodies with him. If we die, I'm coming back from the dead, and I'm killing you again. I'm raising us both up, and I'm killing you myself.
So I'm kind of curious, Can I do a perception check to see if there's any way that we could have possibly missed as far as, like, hidden doors? A lot of old keeps and castles do have, like, secret entrances and exits along the outside.
The only way that you're conceivably going to be able to investigate this is if you run over to the wall.
Okay.
Because something like that would not be apparent from how far away you are.
Okay.
So if you would like to do that, you are welcome to. I'm just telling you that's where you're going to have to position yourself to do that.
The wall is made out of stone, right?
Yes, the walls are stone.
So I take it we're approaching the wall first.
What could I use my dwarven stonecraft vision junk to look at the wall and tell if
Like
structural weaknesses, maybe a hidden door, something like that we could get in through?
Again, you are going to have to approach the wall.
Oh, fiddlesticks. Okay.
You are like the equivalent of 4-ish city blocks away from the wall right now.
And there's like a small encampment or village that we're going through.
So if you're looking at your maps, you guys are on the north and you're basically right at the edge of where the buildings are, right? So each one of those blocks that you see on the map is like a city block, more or less. I mean, obviously some are bigger blocks than others just due to the construction of the city. So you are a ways away from the wall. That's the only reason you guys aren't full of arrows right now, is because you're outside of the
range.
You're out of the range of the archers. So this is not like something where you guys are within easy sight lines of the wall.
Okay. So can we more or less approach under difficult to detect circumstances in a small party of, say, 1 or 2 people?
Yeah, I mean, you are definitely welcome to try and approach the wall. It is what it is. If that's what you would like to do, you may very well do that. But there are a lot of people up on the wall, and they all know you're out here because you just fought with like 20 people.
Right.
So stealth is really out of the question at this point.
Plus you got like a dwarf with full plate running towards the wall.
And I also should mention that the footsteps have gotten very, very loud. They're probably approaching the gate from the inside at this point.
Do they sound like jackboots? Like,
yes, these sound like armored up soldiers. It's like fast. This is like a martial jog. They are coming in quick.
So, in these blocks leading up to the walls,
yeah,
like I said, are there encampments, or is it just kind of like set up as defenses?
Think of it sort of as like the beginnings of the city, like starting to spill out of the walls. Okay. So there is a mix in here of housing and shops and things like that.
Okay.
I'm following your lead.
Yeah.
We're already here.
Yeah.
We might as well go towards it.
Just go with your original plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. Get captured.
Okay, so you just, like, standing up on this mound of bodies, then?
Yeah, and claiming full responsibility.
Okay.
We're gonna die. We're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other plan than just standing there and letting them take us?
I'm going to appeal to them.
Are you daft, man? They're gonna kill you!
And with that, you hear the gate to the city slam open, and the footsteps approach rapidly, and you see a large number of soldiers begin running down the road and quickly surrounding you with spears leveled. And this group just keeps growing and growing, and they're coming in so quickly you're not able to count them exactly, but we're looking at easily over 500 drow here that have arrayed themselves in a semicircle.
Alright, Mikhail has laid all of his weapons down at his own feet, and he stands there and says, "My fellow brethren drow, a companion of mine initiated duel of combat. Took out a commander in a single brief glorious moment, and I had only the choice to come to his aid. I claim responsibility for these actions. However, I appeal to you in a high sense of honor in court to carry out proceedings in a fair manner, and with the highest of honors. I have only one request, that I may speak to your town leader.
One of the drows, who's dressed in slightly nicer armor and wields a heavy two-handed sword, appears to be some sort of a captain, yells out to you, "You are assaulting our city. You have no rights here. Submit yourself as our prisoner or die now."
My arms are already laid about my feet.
He motions, and a group of about 30 soldiers break towards you, and two of them produce shackles.
She sighs, and she sets down her hammer, and looks over at him, and grunts, and puts her arms behind her head.
Okay, you are shackled. A few of the soldiers collect your gear, and they lead you down off the mound, and as they're about to rejoin the main group, you hear a loud screeching roar as the dragon you've seen circling lands between you and the group of the rest of soldiers that were arrayed there. And it stands there, it rears up on its hind legs, slamming down to the ground. You feel the earth shake as you truly realize how much bigger this dragon is. Now that you get a good look at him, he appears to be 3, maybe even 4 times bigger than the dragon that you fought previously. And off of his back, a small figure drops off, a figure with 3 horns, and walks slowly over to you, stopping about 10 feet away, looks you up and down slowly, and then simply says, "Welcome to Blüdvaren." And then he turns around and remounts his dragon and flies away. You are led into the city through several twists and turns until you are taken to a holding cell where you are thrown in and locked behind a secure door. Rhomash, you just saw 2 of your friends do a suicide stand, essentially, and be taken away.
Yeah, I'm a dragonborn of a broken brain, but at least I know it was too stupid to stay back and get caught by that guy. Holy crap, that's a big dragon. Hey, Michael, where's Joshamee? Where's Seebo? Where'd they go?
I do not know where Seebo is. Joshamee threw in his lot with Sage. They have gone on a secret mission that, if successful, should cripple the city.
Ooh, cool. What are we gonna do?
Well, my friend, I will lead the vanguard. You shall take a contingent of troops to the west gate and assault there.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do this.
Michael turns and quickly addresses some of his other commanders that he has with him. They all kind of huddle up real quick, and then 3 of these guys that are dressed in similar armor to Michael break off and come to stand behind you, and their troops that are under their command begin to position themselves with you as well. Now, my friends, to free ourselves from this evil city, to war!
Huzzah!
And with that, Michael begins striding back towards the north gate.
Alright, boys, let's do this.
And Rhomash starts marching his way toward the west gate, which I assume is over here.
Yes,
On the west?
that would be the west gate. The only one that's on the west side of the city.
There's this. Never mind.
Poor Rhomash had that.
Ramash's berries are not doing so well.
He had to follow up freaking Michael's war cry, and if I were with his contingent, I'd be pretty disappointed.
Joshamee's fingers ache, and wind whips across his body as he hangs on for dear life about 3/4 of the way up the wall of the keep.
You know, dwarves are really meant for climbing.
Just up ahead of him, Sage looks back and whispers, "You said that you wanted to come on the stealth mission. This is the stealth mission. Now shh."
Okay.
Sage, Joshamee, and the rest of Sage's strike force have snuck past the western gate and come all the way over to the wall that surrounds the castle. They are now most of the way up, and it has gotten increasingly windy. The walls of the keep are much higher than the walls of the rest of the castle, so they're really getting up there. Joshamee, how about a athletics check for me here, bud?
12.
Joshamee makes a grab for what looks like a good handhold, and turns out that the stone there is a little bit too weathered and has grown smooth over time, and his hand slips off, and he falls a few feet. Fortunately, the people above him are able to brace themselves and catch him, but he slams against the wall, and he's going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Solid. Like his body.
And from up above you, after bracing themselves, the rest of the strike team continue climbing. Sage looks down at you and just gives you a glare.
He blushes and then looks away.
Okay, but you are able to climb the rest of the way up, and now you are on the top of the wall of the keep.
Easy breezy workout. Am I right?
Again, Sage just glares at you and puts her finger up to her lips. And then you begin to sneak off towards... there's a guard tower up ahead, and hopefully you can slip down some stairs there. Seebo, what are you doing?
Okay, so Seebo was going to take this, there's a small gap between the wall and the building.
Oh, you're just talking about kind of like the...
Right, I guess has he already made it inside the keep, inside walls, or to the gate?
You are, so if you're going inside, I'm gonna need you to do a stealth check. Since you are a shadow and you still technically can be seen to some extent, I just need you to do a stealth check to make sure you can get past the guards that are watching the gate here.
Okay. 1 plus 23. 25.
25? Okay. You didn't sound really sure about that.
Well, I had to keep adding.
It's not like you said 21 plus 23. I was like, damn.
God.
25, yes. 25 is more than sufficient. You slip inside the walls of the city, and there's enough commotion with just people trying to evacuate further into the city to get away from these walls that I think that you can slip in with little to no real issue.
Okay. Once inside, Seebo would like to, I guess, you'd like to look for a building that would be tall, the tallest building around him, possibly even taller than the walls, if there are any.
Okay. So the area you came in is a slum.
Okay.
So there's not going to be a lot of tall buildings in that area.
Okay.
If you want to move over to one of the, either like one of the craftsman districts that are on either side of it, you might be able to find a building that is taller, but probably not taller than the wall.
Okay. Then Seebo's going to make his way up on top of the wall.
Okay. I will need you to do another stealth check to get up onto the wall, because there's going to be guards pretty much by every staircase.
15?
Okay. I think with a 15, you can get yourself up on the wall. However, you end up in a situation where there are guards all around you. So you're now on top of the wall, but you cannot walk further up or down the wall. You're just stuck right where you are.
Okay.
So we'll say, which way were you wanting to go? Did you want to go farther north or farther, like, south?
Well, did he get, up, like, is there, like, a guard post right here by the gate?
So, like, all the staircases and stuff
Yeah.
are going to be where the little triangles are sticking out.
Okay.
Or right by the gate
Okay.
there.
So he went up by the gate.
Okay, so you are, like, right next to one of those towers there.
Yeah.
But unless you find some sort of a workaround, you're going to be stuck there.
Well, he was going to try and teleport in further into the city.
Okay.
So picking a location close to the temple court kind of area by like the market area.
Okay.
So like a higher vantage point if there's something over there.
Okay. Yeah, I think that you can see to that zone 6 right there, right in front of the temple.
Okay.
There are several tall buildings there that appear fairly ornate.
Yeah, that's like the rich person district, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Seebo, as a shadow, is going to pull the monocle up to his eye and look for a tall building over in the Patriciate region.
Okay, so you go ahead and do that, and I think that actually some of the guards like almost feel a shadow when they look around, but you're already gone at that point. Brunhilde and Mikhail, you have been led out of the holding cell you were in to a different building where you have been secured to sturdy metal chairs, and a burly guard has come in and is questioning you with a stout club if he doesn't like the answers. So it's all the usual questions, why are you here? How many troops did you bring with you? Where are your commanders stationed? All that stuff. So, do you guys have anything to tell him, or?
I'm telling him that I came into this alone, and that, that's pretty much it. Name, rank, and serial number.
I came into this alone.
But,
you say with someone right next to you also being questioned.
I tell him that anything I have to say, I'll say to his superiors.
Okay.
Yeah, so needless to say, she's spitting both sexual innuendos at him, mixed with swear words, mixed with saliva. So
rolled into one.
Ooh, saliva.
All right. Well, you guys are being pretty defiant. You're going to both take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you really get worked over here.
Well, hello there. I'm Brian Wayne, host of the Cheers to Comics podcast, and I'm here to bring you the ultimate comic book podcast for readers and lovers and collectors of all levels. Whether you're trying to get caught up on last week's books or you're just looking to check out the latest interview with the latest creator, this is the podcast for you. So, if you're looking for a comic book show that doesn't stray away from the topic and you're looking to get an insight from a true fan and lover of this industry, then tune into the Cheers to Comics podcast 3 times a week as I, Brian Wayne, raise a glass to this wonderful, wonderful industry that is comics. Cheers.
What's up, all you wonderful listeners? RJ here, hoping you've all had a wonderful holiday season, and that you all have a great 2021. My holiday season was a little different than before, but overall, it was just as wonderful as ever. My biggest regret was that we were unable to get you all another Hearthfire special, but everybody here at Realms and Nerds' schedules were just so hectic the past couple of months that we just weren't able to get one recorded. Hopefully this coming year we can bring that special back. You may have remembered me mentioning before about our podcast's Twitch channel. I used to do live streams there of myself working on new episodes of the podcast, but I decided to quit doing those streams several months ago. However, we recently started doing listening parties for the podcast every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For these streams, each week we play one episode of the show by order of release, and myself and sometimes one or more of the other hosts will be hanging out in the stream chat to talk with you guys. At the time of recording this, we're actually 2 weeks out from listening to the first episode proper of this campaign, The Return of Ornon. Next week's Listen Party is the finale of the 4-part prelude for the Return of Ornon campaign. We would love to have you join us. The Twitch channel is also used for video game streams when myself and one or more of the other co-hosts are playing a video game together, such as Apex Legends or Destiny 2. If you're interested in video game streams, you can also find me on my personal Twitch channel, RedSun55, streaming video games such as the ones I've previously mentioned, as well as Minecraft, Overwatch, Kingdom Hearts, different Nintendo video games, and more. At the time of recording, my stream schedule is Sundays at 1 p.m., Wednesdays at 10 p.m., and Saturdays at 10 p.m., all Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to see you there, and you can find links for both our podcast Twitch as well as my personal Twitch channel in the episode description. You can also join our Discord group for fans of all our homebrew entertainment projects, including this podcast and my Twitch streams, which will let you know when new episodes of our podcasts go up and when we go live on Twitch. All the links can be found in the episode description. Speaking of social media platforms, if you're on social media, go ahead and give us a follow or like or whatever it is for that particular platform. You can find links to all of our social medias in, you guessed it, the episode description. Also, when making posts about the show on social media, don't forget to use the official hashtag RealmsNerds, written as one word with no dashes, periods, underscores, nothing like that. RealmsNerds. If you know anyone that you think would be into our podcast, go ahead and send them a link to it. There's a handy link in the episode description that offers several links to different popular podcast services. So even if you listen to podcasts on, say, Spotify, and they listen on Apple, you can send them the link and they can subscribe to it on their podcast app of choice. Also, if you have any ideas for things that you might like to see as bonuses for a Patreon or for merchandise in an online store, please let us know. We're still trying to figure out both of those and would love to hear ideas from you guys on what kind of things you would like as rewards or things you can buy. Don't forget to check out the other podcasts you've heard promoed during this commercial break. You can find links for those in the episode description. And, as always, thank you once again for listening, and for another great year of making this podcast for you all. We really, really appreciate you and are looking forward to providing you with more content in 2021. Thank you also to our good friend Kyle for composing our show's main theme. Remember to take care of yourselves, everyone. I hope you have a great new year, and I'll talk to you again when we release Episode 5 of the Vasanoka Adventures. But for now, let's get to the second half of the Return of Ornon, Episode 24.
What's that crap? Listen to some real entertainment. Broadcasting loud and clear from the first state of the Union, the land of the three counties. I'm J-Man, and this is
J360 Radio!
Broadcasting live via Spreaker.com/J360 Radio from Tuesdays to Friday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Adjust for time. I'll see you there.
Let's jump back over to Joshamee. You've crept along the wall with Sage. You guys have somehow managed to avoid all of the guards patrolling, just because Sage is good like that. And now find yourself right next to the edge of the castle here.
So we're on the back part of the castle where the wall comes really close to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Sage gets really close and whispers right into your ear. You have some experience with tunneling, do you not?
Kinda not. I mean, I just do more general thieving.
But you're a dwarf, aren't you?
I mean, I've done my fair share of tunneling. I mean, yes, I can tunnel.
She produces a digging/crowbar kind of tool, and with a little bit of effort, pops one of the cobblestones off of the ground, and then a few more, revealing that underneath there is some wood, which she, as quietly as she can, smashes through, and you see that there is something of a collapsed tunnel underneath. She hands you the tool and says, "Follow this tunnel. When you get to the end, you'll know what to do."
He kind of gives her a little salute and then starts digging away.
Okay. As you drop down into the hole, they replace the cobblestones over the top of you, and you are inside. And we're going to jump over to Rhomash. Rhomash, what are you doing with your squad of soldiers?
We're going to gate. We're going to the western gate, obviously.
All right.
That's the intention.
So you have a relatively smaller contingent of soldiers. Like I said, 3 commanders came with you, and each one of them had 200 men under his command.
Okay.
So you have a total of 600 troops, Pleo, plus the 3 commanders and yourself.
All right.
And how are you going to array your forces?
That's an excellent question, sir. Do we hear as many soldiers rushing to us as the other gate, or not quite as many that we can figure?
Why don't you do a perception check for me?
Oh, good idea. That's an unnatural 20.
Okay, yeah. You can tell that Michael has already committed his soldiers to the fight on the other side. You hear a lot of yelling and, the clanging of steel coming from over in that other gate.
Can I see if the gate's closed or open in front of us?
Yeah, have you moved up to, the roadway there?
Yeah, I'd say by now we probably would have positioned ourselves in front of the roadway so we can at least see what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay,
here.
So the gate is currently closed. You can see there's a fair amount of troops on the wall, but I think with a 20, you notice that there appears to be slightly less people on this gate than there were on the northern gate.
All right. Do we have any kind of siege equipment with us, or no?
No, you have some archers that are mixed into the ranks of the troops that you have, but just because of, the fact that they came through a portal, there was a limited amount of troops that they could, bring with them.
God, I don't know how I want to do this. I kind of want to draw them out, because assaulting it would probably be suicide. How tall are these buildings that are next to the wall?
I would say that most of the buildings are about half as tall as the wall.
So you're by a craftsman area, aren't you?
Well, on the outside, it's by the gate area.
Yeah, I know,
outside
but
by
on the other side of the
area,
wall.
You could take the whole route of Achilles at Troy, where he took the captain of the fallen guard outside the city and just dragged him around on a horse outside until someone came out.
Is there anyone outside that we have to face? Any soldiers?
No, as far as you can tell, everybody has pulled back inside the walls of the city.
All right, so he's going to turn to his the officers that are with him. All right, boys. You have any suggestions as to how to approach this particular situation?
Well, sir, we could form our ranks, get a tight line with the shields, and hopefully block most of the incoming fire as we get there.
It's kind of what I was thinking. Are you thinking just straight line down the road? Turtle it up?
That seems like the best option. We could deploy some archers into the buildings if you'd like.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Alright, get your archers on the rooftop, see if they can't handle some of the archers on the wall while we make our way down the road.
Okay. So about a third of the troops are archers, so they pull off and they get up onto the walls here.
All right.
They all up onto the roofs of the buildings and stuff. So they're positioned waiting for your command.
Raj double checks, make sure everyone's positioned where they are, and he's like,
Alright, boys, move out!
Alright, so are you getting inside the turtle, or are you standing in front?
I'm like, there's going to be guys in the very front with their shields like this. Rhomash is going to be right behind them at their shoulders.
Okay.
He's got his own shield up in the turtle, too.
Okay, cool. So you guys have formed up into this turtle group, and you are marching your way down the road.
Alright, we're going.
Seebo, what are you up to?
So Seebo just teleported into the wealthy district. I'd like to roll a perception check, see what I can learn about the temple in front of me.
Okay.
Okay, 17.
You can see that this temple is absolutely massive. Even the limited map that you saw didn't really do it justice. As far as you can tell, this thing is the size of somewhere in the neighborhood of, 6 to 10 city blocks. You're not really sure, just because you can't even see the whole thing. From where you are, there's 2 parts of the temple that jut out a little bit, and each of these are supported by these huge columns of stone, which are also arrayed across the front, making just this real grand entranceway.
Mm-hmm.
You also can notice that on pretty much every sight line that the building has to other roads, there are heavily fortified defensive positions set up on top of the temple.
Yeah, what's the roof look like?
The roof is, as far as you can tell, because actually, the temple is even a little bit taller than the building that you're currently on.
Uh-huh.
As far as you can tell, the roof must be more or less flat, because you see a lot of soldiers up on top. Like, some of these defensive positions are set into the building and others are actually on the roof.
All right.
So you have to assume that there's more or less a level surface.
So you're telling me there's kind of guard posts that it's like you just walk out and you're on the side of the building, or you can say?
Yeah, so some of them are set up
like a balcony almost.
Yes, like a balcony.
Okay.
And then there appears to be some sort of other setup on the roof.
How many people are positioned in the balconies? Are they smaller, or are they big contingency troops?
They're fairly big. I guess you reckon, you can't tell exactly how many people are in each area, but you reckon that you could probably comfortably stand 10 to 15 archers on there, and they would all be able to shoot no problem. So fairly large positions in terms of what a guard post is.
Are there any open windows?
I think that you can see that obviously there's these guard areas that are open. Other than that, there are some windows, but none of them that you can see at least appear to be open.
Okay.
Or at least if they are, you don't really have an angle where you could get inside. Again, you're looking mostly at the front of the building, which is the entranceway. So there's not really a ton of windows to begin with on that side.
Alright. So Seebo's going to...
And also, I'm going to say you're probably about 30 minutes into your wraithing at this point.
Okay. Seebo's going to look... Can he see the roof from here?
You cannot see the roof itself. You can see the edge of the roof if you wanted to try and do some sort of an acrobatic thing here, but that's going to be pretty difficult.
Seebo is going to look through the monocle and teleport onto one of these balconies. Whichever one you can see that has the least amount of people.
Okay. So, we'll say, just going with your perception check from before, we'll say that the eastern balcony appears to have slightly less troops.
Okay, and that'd be right back here.
No, it's the one that you're looking at is on this part that juts out.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Think of it as,
and that connects into the building?
Yes. Okay. These parts that jut out were the balconies, because, you can see these two different balconies. Think of it almost like they're positioned to cover against people that would attack that front gate area.
Okay.
Okay, so you're teleporting in there?
Yep.
Okay, I need you to do another stealth check, because there are a lot of guys.
Ooh, I like that. That is going to be a 24.
Okay, yeah, with a 24, you land. Actually, I think you do a really good job of teleporting in, and you kind of carry yourself a step or two past, the entrance into the building, so you kind of quickly just pass through where all of the guards are stationed here on this balcony.
Alright, and then he's gonna look for just a doorway or something, like a divot in the wall, and just talk into that.
Okay.
Something close.
Yeah, I won't even make you roll for this. I think that just up the hall you see kind of like an alcove.
Okay.
So you're gonna make for that?
Yeah, it's kind of duck in there.
Okay, so you duck in there, and there isn't anybody, and you see that this looks like a little study area. It's got a big table and a couple long benches at this table, and there are actually a few, looks like religious tomes, perhaps, that are just open on the table.
Okay, can Seebo actually walk in there real quick and see if the books he can see out, if any of them might have anything to do with Ornon or the dark magic, something like that.
Okay. Go ahead and do we'll do an investigation, I guess, since you're trying to discern what these books are.
17.
Okay. You cannot read these books. They are in a language that you don't know. However, there are a few words that you catch that I think you recognize just from the spells that you've heard other magicians utter, and you just come to the general assumption that whatever these books are, they definitely have something to do with magic, but it could be whatever. You have really no idea.
Could be farming magic.
This one will make your crops grow.
Hiddly hi, hiddly hee.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Alright, well then, so you can move on. I'll say Seebo's gonna make his way stealthily further down the part that juts out into, the main temple area.
Seebo be creeping.
Seebo be creeping. That's
Seebo
right.
going to the heart of the beast.
I had a question about the holding cells. Are those located near the barracks?
Well,
No.
you don't know where you are right now, because you were you were let in under pretty heavy guard.
Under heavy guard does not mean blindfolded, and
No.
I have already seen maps to this city, as was previously stated.
Do we have sacks? Did we have sacks over our heads?
No,
Flour sacks?
okay. I'll give you this. You don't know exactly where you are because you are unfamiliar with all of the twists and turns of the city, and you were taken through a lot of them. You know that you are somewhere in the southern half of the city currently.
So does that mean that we passed the temple on our way through?
You did not pass the temple.
Okay. So we came from the north gate, did not pass the temple, but we are in the south half of the city.
But that's easy to do. All of these little,
Yeah, all the other side roads, it's easy to get through there.
because, as I said, but I'll reiterate, each one of the blocks is a city block. They're not individual buildings.
Right.
So there's all these side roads. So you were led somewhere to the south, but because I think that you actually got the sense that they were trying to avoid taking you through the middle past the temple specifically.
My apologies. I skewed deductive reasoning out loud.
So you know you're over there somewhere. Cool. Anyways, we're actually going to jump back to Mikhail and Brunhilde, who are taken from this interrogation area, and you were led through more of the city until you realized that where you were being held must have been somewhere in the military area, because you quickly come through the inner gate of the keep and are led up the steps of the castle.
Well, this doesn't look good.
We're certainly a few steps ahead of our companions in the race to get to the keep.
Hey, I would enjoy that pun a little bit more if we weren't being led up here in chains.
Let the blood loss get you delirious. It's fantastic. It's going according to plan, I hope.
You hope. You hope. You hope.
So you are led through to a giant hall that is somewhere in the center of the castle, and is fairly dimly lit. And at the end sits a fairly sizable stone throne with a small figure lounging in it. The throne is actually large enough that they're sitting kind of like sideways with one leg sort of draped over one of the arms of the chair. As you get a little bit closer, you can discern this figure has long jet black hair that is hanging down almost to the middle of her back. And as you get a little bit closer, she doesn't seem to move, but kind of turns her head up towards you a little bit and looks at you with interest. You were led until you were about 20 feet away from this throne, where the guards roughly stop you, and one of them says,
Kneel before the Queen Arlana.
She looks around, and then she looks at Mikhail, and then she rolls her eyes and takes a knee.
The woman in the chair, who you can now discern is also a drow elf, sits there and stares at you for a few seconds. Oh, lovely. It's been so long since we had visitors. My friend Maliaclis told me you would be coming. Please, stand.
Dear Queen Arlana, we have no other business in your realm other than to seek you out for divine wisdom and teachings of your lost realm.
Wisdom, is it? I don't see a whole lot of wisdom in bringing several thousand armed troops to my doorstep.
You speak merely of the company that brought us here. I attended merely as one of my companions. I do not know of this civil war beneath the earth that is waging.
Well, my scouts tell me something of a rift that was opened directly before the troops appeared. That wouldn't have been you, would it?
Me directly? No.
We would never have done anything so eat bad?
Sir,
Bad's a good word?
Sir, your dwarf companion is a terrible liar.
She just has the sweats, and Aunt Flo's in town, I suppose.
Plus, the large gentleman in your prison gave me a good workover.
I do apologize for the rough treatment, but I do enjoy my meat tenderized. And she smiles a big, broad smile, and you realize that all of her teeth are very sharp points.
She looks over to Mikhail and is like, her head tilts unnaturally. Just
are my hands bound?
Yes, you are still shackled. Well, it's been a long, long time since I tasted a surface dwarf.
Yes, but unfortunately, she has quite the collection of STDs.
STDs?
Yes.
STDs!
Quite the list of sexually transmitted diseases all throughout the blood.
What are you talking about?
Befouls the meat. This one's not quite up.
You fucking asshole! I'm not filled with anything.
Then again, maybe she tastes better roasted on a spit, but I'm not one to, I'm not one to knock your taste.
Wait. I'm riddled with disease. I'm riddled with lice and parasites and all this sort of stuff. Very bad. Very bad stuff.
As I said before, your companion is a bad liar.
Oh, believe me, I even had to kill her husband to save him the awful, horrible death at rotting from her insides.
Well, you, and she looks at Mikhail. You are quite the funny one. I suppose perhaps I'll keep you around for a while.
Yes, I've got quite a amount of blood on my hands. I'm much better as a warrior than a meal.
Indeed. Well, we shall have to discuss that more in the future. As for you, and she licks her lips, I think I have other plans for you. She actually turns her back to both of you and just says, he may leave us. And a couple of the guards grab Mikhail and drag him out. Rhomash, your gate assault is fully underway at this point.
Where would you say we're at by now?
You have moved up through, so you see there's kind of that triangular block right there?
Yeah.
You've moved completely past that and are about a third of the way up that second block, so you're getting pretty close.
Can I see the gate by now? Like a
for sure.
Detail. Okay, what does it look like? How big is this thing?
The gate is, you're probably getting about 30 feet tall.
Are we talking a portcullis, or are we talking one that swings open?
This is a gate that swings open.
Ooh.
There is it is solid wood as far as you can tell.
All right, Rhomash is getting ideas, thoughts and ideas, baby.
Thoughts
All right, guys.
All right.
Get me as close to that wall as you can. I have an idea.
Understood, sir. And one of the commanders yells out, "Men, double time it!" And they start going from a slow crawl to a little bit faster. And you are taking some pretty significant fire from the walls at this point. You're actually close enough now that you're getting spears as well, as you've now come within range of some thrown javelins that are picking off your soldiers. Out of the group that you had, you've lost probably about a third of the soldiers on the ground. Okay. So figure you had about 400 on the ground. So, we'll say you've lost 150 of those. You're at about 250 left with these guys on the ground. Archers are taking good cover. They've lost a little bit less. You've got about 100 archers left.
All right. About how far away would you say we are, give or take?
As you're double timing it now, you're coming up pretty close. I would say that you are about 100 feet away, and you're closing more or less quickly.
All right. What's the cover like on our sides on this road? What are the buildings like?
The buildings are the same mix that I described before. All of the areas directly outside the gate are more or less as the city now has started to expand outside of the walls. So it's like a mix of mostly housing, a couple shops, it's kind of a continuation of the city.
Okay. So if we had to take cover in them, it'd be decent cover-wise.
Yeah, you could probably find buildings that you could more or less get at least temporary cover in.
Right. All right. So, I want to keep double timing and get as close as we can. And once we're within 30 feet of the gate, Raj is going to tell them to dip toward the houses and take cover, so we kind of reduce our losses while he works his magic.
Okay. So you are now closing in. We'll say that you are 50 feet in closing.
All right, boys. On my signal, dip into the house and take cover so we reduce our losses. I'm going to try and break that gate down myself.
Understood, sir. Don't worry, the Vanguard will cover you.
Sweet.
All right, so as you've now reached about 30 feet here.
Okay, so we're going to dip into the sides.
So you're going to yell at them to get cover?
Move!
Okay, so the rest of the troops break off, except for you have these 3 commanders, and then they each have about 10 guys that stick with them as their personal contingency. Right. And so these guys form up. Think of it as like a dome with a hole directly facing the gate.
Okay, awesome.
And they're doing their best. There's not a ton of them, but they're doing their best to give you a shield here. So you've got a quick opening.
All right, so Rhomash is going to attempt produce flame on the wall.
Okay.
So that is 24.
Okay.
Which I assume is going to hit.
Yeah, and then go ahead and roll your d20 as well.
That's a 16.
Ooh. All right. This flame comes out, and it is much bigger than you expected. Actually, double what you were expecting here. And it blasts into the wall and actually spreads a little bit, and you get a nice spread as the flames actually catch hold in a couple places, and it starts burning right in the center of the gate.
Do you want me to roll damage, or are you just going to assume it did its work?
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage for me.
All right, since he's doing double. 7 fire damage for 4 d8s.
Okay. Well, it's actually going to be 4...
No, I apologize. That's not 7. That's 11. Actually.
Okay. It's actually going to be 22 because this is a wooden gate and it is been hit with this fire. So it is starting to catch a little bit. One of the commanders that's in here yells to you, "Great work, sir. I think with a nice push we could break through."
All right, let's go.
He yells, "Troops, form back up!" And they come back out of the cover and assume maybe a modified stance from what they did before. And with a charge, they rush the gate here. And with a loud crash, they hit it, and you actually hear it crack, but it doesn't quite give way.
All right, do it again. Back up. Quick.
All right, so you back up about 10 feet. You're losing some serious troops here as the ranks have kind of been broken from smashing into this wall. I think you lose about 50 soldiers here, but again, you rush forward, and they hit the gate again, and you hear it splinter, and it actually starts to open a little bit, but it won't quite swing open.
All right, one more good one, guys. One more. Quick.
So you back up again, and you lose a few more troops, but they keep themselves together a little bit better this time, and with a final push, they smash into the gate, and it swings open.
Signal the archers. Get them in here.
Yes, sir. And he gives off a loud whistle and waves, and the archers start to form up. We are going to cut back to Joshamee, who has been tunneling. Joshamee, how's this tunneling going for you?
Well, it's dark and it's cramped, but I mean, that's what he grew up with before he left the dwarf colony or whatever. To pass the time, he's been quietly mumbling to himself. So he's been quietly mumbling to himself, but he's been working hard because he knows this is important, and he's already gotten a couple glares, and he doesn't want to fuck up too bad.
So, I think Joshamee is making good progress. He's been...
Glory taught, handed out soldiers, no basis for the foundation of government. Fucking Joshamee right now.
Also, I think he's been at this for probably a solid 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah.
I think he's starting to wonder exactly where Sage sent him at this point. So we're going to jump back to Brunhilde, actually, real quick here, who is in a predicament. Arlana has now walked, there's a few steps, and she's come down the couple of steps that were leading up to the throne, and she is now right in front of you. Your skin is just so weathered. It's strange.
I mean, I am a dwarf.
Ah, yes, a dwarf. Wonderful, wonderful. And a surface dwarf at that. It's been so long.
You know, it's kind of wet inside this armor. I'm kind of sweaty. I bet you that I wouldn't taste so good.
And she darts forward quickly, puts one hand over your mouth, and tilts your head to the side, and just with a quick dip, comes in and bites down into the side of your neck, and just takes a long draw of the blood that pours out. And then she steps back, and you can see all this blood just dripping down her chin. You are going to take 10 points of piercing damage.
Brunhilde the vampire.
And
6 damage. I'm at 6 life right now.
Brunhilde starts to feel lightheaded and sway on her feet a little bit, and Arlana leans close to you and goes, "Sleep now." And kind of taps you on the forehead, and with that, you give in and you pass out and fall to the ground.
Oh no. Oh no. Moradin, where are you, man?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Joshamee, you have reached the end of the line in this tunnel. And despite what Sage said, you do not know what to do. All you see is a large stone pillar in the center of a room that is not very big. You can barely stand up in this room. However, the pillar seems to continue on above the roof of the chamber you're in.
You'll know what to do, she said. You'll know what to do, she said. Oh, yeah, I don't fucking know. Wait a second.
He's gonna take his little shovel thing and kind of like poke around towards like the ceiling of the room he's in, near where the pillar is.
Okay. Go ahead and do investigation for me.
That's a nat 20 plus 2, 22.
All right. With your poking around, you find a rock that seems somewhat looser, not like part of the solid construction of the stone.
All right. He gonna try and wiggle that boy loose.
Okay, yeah, it pops free pretty easily with your tool, and behind it you can see there's some kind of like a little hole.
And this is above him, right?
A little bit. The stone actually was just slightly... I mean, like I said, you can barely stand in this room, so it's like just above your head level. It's like right where
it's above him, like roof, not like in the wall.
It's in the column, that's in the center of the room.
Oh.
So it's like right where the column meets the roof.
Oh, so in that kind of corner. Well, no time like the present. And he wiggles his little dwarf body into the hole and starts climbing, crawling, whatever.
Okay.
If it's big enough for him to fit?
It's not that big. This hole is like 2 inches across.
Okay. Alright. He's gonna check out this hole he's uncovered, I guess.
Okay, are you like sticking your hand in there?
First he's gonna like peer in the hole and look and see the best he can.
Jumping up and down, I guess. Alright. Yeah, well you rolled a 22 on your investigation, so I'll give you. You can see there's some kind of like a rope or something in there.
Okay. He's gonna reach in and try and grab the rope with his little dwarf arm.
Okay. You grab it and you feel that it's got a little bit of give to it.
So he's gonna pull the rope.
Okay. You pull the rope and nothing happens. And then suddenly, somewhere up above you, you hear a loud rumbling and crumbling of stone. And we're going to jump back to the room that Brunhilde is in, as suddenly one of the pillars in the throne room has crumbled, revealing that up above where it was some sort of a secret passageway, where quickly Sage and her entire strike team rappel down through the hole and surround the queen. And Sage steps forward and wordlessly gives a mocking little bow and then holds out a pair of shackles.